I think you have some other projects going on too, don't you? Yeah.
I do. I
Do you-
try to balance my full-time work with the with my passions too, but
it's hard with passion. I know. I know.
yeah.
I get busy as well. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been, the some of the other projects. I always say, I'm working on it, or the trumpet swans are making me work on it in the background that I don't know about the wildlife. The Double Crescent Comrades, is actually a project that's the bird that got me to that harbor the first place.
Oh,
It's one of, I guess, the most hated birds in the world, if you will. When I
really?
Yeah, I mean, it was very sad to know that they also have a very inspiring story of comeback. And people associate, unlike the swans, who's been adored around the world,
Hmm.
these birds are being hated in North America because of the misconception and the myths that people have associated with this bird. So,
Really?
yeah, so I
I
started documenting them since the time I met them, and learned more about their stories, and found, spending more time with them every spring that they come. I've recently, the last few days, I heard that there has been some kind of a policy that's the government is trying to use a mass cull of these birds. Uh,
really.
50 birds per day per hunter for 300 days or something like that, and it got me teared up.
Yeah.
Was very heartbreaking. So I'm trying to see if I can use my photography to be a voice for these birds, and hopefully to have people to create respect and love or like these birds and change the perception around these birds.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
Why the reason for the call? Are they considered pesty or, like, are they getting in the way of the marina or fishing or something or what?
yeah, they're basically been blamed, even though scientific research and study after study has proven that this bird has nothing to do with the fishery or has no impact. People have a misguided information around them,
Hmm.
saying that they've been because they were basically driven to extinction and been brought back, and they basically expanded, and they breed in these huge colonies. And normally their colonies are not alone. They normally have about another 12 to 13 different other species of birds along with them.
Hmm.
Gulls, night herons,
Oh, wow.
swans. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
whole ecosystem.
Yeah.
People don't realize that, but having spending so much time with them, I've got to know these birds, and they are absolutely beautiful. They have this beautiful aqua eyes, and they have like a beautiful white, in their when they open their mouths, they have. What is called it, like a sky blue in their mouths, and
Oh, really?
beautiful yellow beaks. But for the people who's looking at them, they only see this black, dark, evil bird associated with myths from long time ago, called like they're like a bad omen, or they destroy trees, eat fish. they
Yeah.
they've been persecuted throughout the centuries just because of these misconceptions.
Ah, well, I'm glad you're being a voice for them. Do you have any photos that you could share of them in our show notes to show how pretty these are?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Oh, great.
I just,
Great.
I had them back of my mind. And just recently, like this weekend, I read about this policy that's going on. And I basically had to go through my archives to try to retrieve some of these pictures of them to kind of help to create awareness for
Well,
these birds,
yeah, yeah. If we can start posting information too. So, is there a group that is actually like the Trumpeter Swan Restoration Group? Is there some group working for these birds for the cormorants or?
There are some, I think, in the US, and there's an international movement going on. I
Okay.
haven't been able to reach out to any of them yet because I was focused more on the trumpeters for the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
But Liz from the Trumpeters Swans Association too. She's a voice for many other different organizations. So along with her, I'm hoping that we can be a voice for these innocent birds as well.
Yeah, yeah. So is there research out there? I don't know if you know this or anything about, those birds traveling with other water birds and such. If they're gone, is that going to affect how these colonies of birds come together?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. There's been like a ton of research done around it because they breed along with all the other birds. And these people, when they go to hunt them, and there's been a lot of huge culls happening in the US and other parts of Canada as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not created anything different. And
Wow.
it's actually created different environmental, negative environmental impact. And for me too, they nest here in a place. It's one of the most polluted areas on Great Lakes. There is a steel factory, a mill behind it, and they nest on a man-made island that was initially developed to host hydropoles.
Mm.
So I don't understand what kind of environmental damage are they doing.
Right. If they seem to be thriving on a dirty area. Yeah.
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
shocked when I initially found this bird colony. There's at least about 2,000 to 3,000 birds come there every year.
Wow.
Um, and let alone they thrive. I mean, I was surprised that they were surviving this environment.
Maybe that's why they're scary. I don't know. Yeah, they must. Yeah, I think sometimes people get scared of birds that they can't. Like trumpeter swans, they can hunt for feathers or whatever, and they're beautiful to look at. But these birds, from a distance, look plain. I don't,
Yes.
they can't really use them for anything, so they create these scary myths about them. I don't know.
It's like the
Yeah,
vultures too. Vultures have
yeah,
some like a similar reputation,
yeah.
because of what they eat. So these birds basically get persecuted because of how they look from a distance, and
Mm-hmm.
what they eat. Again, they eat fish, but not they also eat invasive species, but they've been wrongly prosecuted that they actually cause damage. Actually, the scientific research has pointed out the opposite of it, because them returning back to the Great Lakes, which is their native home, is actually a positive impact of biodiversity
Mm-hmm.
in returning to the Great Lakes.
Interesting. Yeah. I grew up near the Great Lakes, so that's near and dear to me. So, yeah, yeah, I should talk to somebody from there too about this. Yeah, I would be happy to share whatever information you have and get the word out on this. So, thank you for all you're doing on that for sure.
Oh, you're welcome. Just
Yeah.
getting started on that, just so that you asked me. That's the first thing that came to my mind because, yeah, I
Yeah.
was really brought to tears to see these birds getting killed or getting massacred, basically.
Yeah, for no real good reason it sounds
Yeah.
like. So,